I recently picked up a new pistol caliber carbine. It's known as a JRC, is a Just Right Carbine. It's actually made by Just Right Carbines out of New York. I'm not going to try and pronounce the name. It's basically a straight blowback 16-inch barreled carbine. It uses this particular setup uses Glock magazines. This one is set up for 9mm Luger. They make them in 9, 40, and 45, and they do make conversion kits where you can change out the mag well and change out the barrel so you can have it set up in whatever caliber you'd like if you can't find it the caliber you want, or if you just want it set up to where you can shoot multiple calibers. It uses a lot of AR-15 parts. Buttstock, buffer tube, pistol grip, most of the fire control group. Free float 4-in tube is changeable from an AR-15. It comes with a railed 4-in free float tube on it and a flat top Picatinny rail. This one's been tricked out a little bit. It normally comes with a standard like M4 style collapsible stock. This one has a Magpul MOE and an ergo grip on it. It's got some nice rail covers on it to protect your hand, and I threw a cheap little vertical foregrip on it, and I've also outfitted it with a primary arms micro red dot on a little riser. It's also convertible. You can change out the ejection port and the bolt handle and make it to where it'll shoot left-handed for those poor unfortunate souls that are left-handed. Like I said, this one uses Glock magazines. At present, I only have some Glock 17 mags, but it will accept the 33-round Happy Sticks. It will actually accept all the way down. It's just a short magazine well that it will accept down to like the Glock 26, I believe the model number is, the baby Glocks. So pretty much any Glock you have, you can interchange magazines with it. My goal with this one, it's kind of strange. It has a triangular-shaped barrel out to the last about 2.5 inches. But my goal is, if it proves reliable and accurate, I'm going to take the barrel off, take it to my machine after having threaded it for my 9mm suppressor, and then possibly eventually outfit it with one of the slide fire stocks to basically have a poor man's submachine gun. I have seen a couple of videos where it actually does seem to work. So if we get this one to work and have fun with it, that's probably where we're headed. We've got a couple of different kinds of ammo today. One of them is a cast 147 grain. That's subsonic ammo, so that's what I'm going to be shooting through my suppressor when I do get this one threaded. Just want to make sure it functions with that, as well as some 115 grain Winchester white box. I'll probably also shoot some jacketed hollow points through it because I do think it's a pretty good home defense carbine. 17 rounds or 33 rounds is nothing to sneeze at. 9mm inside the house is, to me, is a good home defense round. You got low recoil, lower noise than say an AR-15. Definitely lighter recoil than like a 12 gauge. Adjustable stock, so multiple people can shoot it. If you have somebody smaller stature, wife or older kids, I think a 9mm carbine has a lot going for it. I've got a few of them and had several. I'm generally a big fan of pistol caliber carbines. So here we go. That was a subsonic load. Recoil is nice and mild, fairly quiet, as you can hear. And these are the Asian, the Korean magazines, so I'm not expecting 100% reliability out of them just due to their cheap manufacture. But they are cheap, good for range mags. This is the 115 grain Winchester white box. As you notice, it does not have a bolt hold open, which is not a huge detriment, just a little minor annoyance. Can't expect everything. I like it. Recoil's nice, mild. It's definitely snappier with 115 grain, but my subsonic hand loads are pretty low pressure, which is good. They're lead bullets, and I want them to be nice and quiet through the suppressor. So, hope you enjoy. Thanks. First magazine were some Remington 115 grain jacketed hollow points that seem to function pretty well perfectly. Accuracy is good. I mean, I'm only 15 yards away, but for a home defense gun, that's longer than my family room is, so I think it'll work just fine. Second magazine was some commercially loaded, reloaded 147 grain full metal jacket subsonics. It's really a lot of fun to shoot with the subsonics. I can't wait to get the suppressor on it, in all honesty now. It's slightly more than a 22. It's not a heavy carbine by any means, mostly made out of aluminum. Honestly, when I first saw them, when I first read about them, the whole aluminum thing kind of turned me off. I realized AR-15s have been made out of aluminum for decades. It just seemed kind of cheap to begin with, but now that I actually have it in my hand, there's a lot of good quality machining work done to it. It's got a nice black anodized finish to it. A lot of guns from smaller companies like this just kind of lack that finished look to them, and this really looks like a nice sharp carbine. I mean, it's not perfect by any means. I'm sure that, after I shoot some more, there's some things I can think of that I'd change out, but for now, it seems like a really good solid carbine so far. I mean, I've only got half a dozen magazines through it, but it seems good. I'm going to give it a better test, and I would say as it stands right now, I would definitely recommend for somebody, if you're in the market for a 9mm carbine, a little more expensive than, say, a Kel-Tec Sub 2000, considerably less expensive than building your own AR-15, and it has pretty much all the same controls other than the bolt handle. It does have a little notch, kind of like a HK style, where you can pull the bolt handle back and lock it, and then just pop it up to put it forward into battery. It seems like a good solid carbine. Happy with it so far. So I think after we get home, we're going to pull the barrel and take it to the machinist, have him do his magic.